Hey guys, what's up? This is Panzer Dragon, and today we'll be talking about the Smite buffs. I know this guide is going to be a bit late, but after playing around for like a month and seeing what players are doing and how they're using their Smite for maximum efficiency, it's finally time that I made a guide on the Smite buffs and when you should use it. And I probably should have made this guide a month ago, but better late than never, right? And so here's the video, and with all that being said, let's get started. So the first thing I want to be talking about is the Gromp buff. Its main use is for clearing camps faster, and it's mostly used in the early and mid game since that's where you'll probably be farming the most. As late game, you probably have enough damage to take out the camps since you're probably level 18 and have all your abilities already. This is probably one of the most important buffs early game, as having better clears makes you take less damage and can gank more since you're clearing the camps faster. So in my opinion, this is probably one of the most important buffs to Smite early game, and if you are going for like a farm route when you're like level 4, 1 or anytime, it's definitely worthwhile to start at this camp when you're going to do your route. The next thing we're going to be talking about is smiting the blue buff. So probably the most useless thing to smite, as it does give you mana. The only time I can find smiting this buff really efficient is if, say, you're going to give the blue buff to your mid laner and you need some mana to sustain yourself so that you don't have to go back and get some mana. Otherwise, I would recommend holding onto your smite and smiting something else, unless of course you are just using the smite just to clear the blue buff so you don't take as much damage from it. Next up, we'll be talking about the Spirit Wolf, and this is mostly a defensive PvP mid game to late game buff, because essentially it's just a ward around your left side of the jungle if you're on blue side. So having the Spirit Wolf of course defends your jungle from anyone who's trying to invade it. Not that great in the early game since there's not a lot of junglers who will invade you when you are at full hit point. But say you're behind and you're in the mid game and you have to turtle, this is where it becomes handy, as if an enemy has an advantage, they'll probably be pushing up onto your second towers and trying to siege you. So it's only really good for defensive purposes. Now say if you are in the enemy jungle, this is a different story. Smiting the enemy wolf in his own jungle gives you vision of that entire jungle when someone is in it. This is probably very efficient, as this gives you so much information of where the enemy jungler might be. And so with this Spirit Wolf right here, you can safely assume that he's probably going to be topside. And this is probably one of the most best efficient strategies for using your smite with, as vision does win you games. The next camp we'll be talking about is the Raptors or chickens or wraiths, whatever you want to call it. So this buff is used offensively for PvP, and it's great throughout all stages of the game. So this is probably one of the most best things to smite when you are planning to gank a lane, as it does give you a free oracles, and so when you're walking towards a lane with the buff on you, if the buff does not ever pop up when you're making your way to that lane, then that means it's not warded and you can gank it. Now when the mid game to late game comes, it's really good for clearing out wards around areas like Dragon and Baron, so it can help you try and sweep it and try and bait a Baron or Dragon and try to bait the enemy into a bad position so you can wipe them out. Overall, a really handy buff to have at any stages of the game. So the next thing we're going to be talking about is the red buff. So this one's pretty easy. It's when you want more health and you're not planning to go back, and so the extra hit point that you get can save you from not going back, and you can probably gank a lane right after. Don't forget the sustain that it gives you when you have the red buff, as it does heal you for 1% of your maximum health. It's only really good in the early game, as mid game to late game, you'll probably want to save your smite for something better unless you need that sustain. Next up, we'll be talking about the Golem buff, and it's a defensive player versus monster early game buff. So in my opinion, this is best on people who have attack speed. Champions like Maokai and Hecarim who use their skills to clear camps don't really make the most efficiency out of this buff. I mean, it does help those champions, but not as good as say someone like Lee Sin who has a 40% attack speed steroid. I mean, say if you are doing a farm route, it's better than smiting the Raptors or Wolves, but probably not as good as say smiting the Gromp or red buff. Of course, if you are an attack speed jungler, then you will probably not take a lot of damage with this buff. There's also another effect where if you hit a tower, you do 65 true damage plus 15 times your level, but honestly, if you're already going to take down a tower, you probably already have it secure, and 4 or 5 more seconds of hitting the tower isn't really that much time. So I'd say it's mostly used for fighting creeps and not towers. I mean, if you do have it for taking down towers, well, there's 4 or 5 seconds less of just hitting it, but I'd still say its main purpose is used for taking less damage in the new jungle. Now to wrap up this video, I'm not saying you should hold onto your smite every time you're doing a camp. because there will be times where you have to smite the wolf because you want to clear it faster, or say your Gromp isn't up yet and the only thing you can smite is your wolf. I'm just saying, if you had the choice to smite a camp and you want to make the most efficiency out of it, then this is what you would do. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please check out my patch 4.21 tier list of all roles, and we'll see you next time.